Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Will Manchester United sign a centre-back? We have a 5-man centre-back shortlist. And the new centre-back is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority. Now, according to the Spanish outlet AS, Manchester United, Real Madrid and Barcelona have made inquiries for Jules Koundé from Sevilla. Now, apparently, we will have to pay around 55 million to get Jules Koundé at the end of the season. He has a £70 million release clause in his contract with Sevilla. He's made around 70 appearances for Sevilla. Sevilla paid £22 million for him from Bordeaux back in the summer of 2019. But his performances for Sevilla have been very, very good this season. He's got a contract with Sevilla until 2024. He is only the age of 22. So if we was to get him, do you think he'd go well alongside Harry Mcguire in our back line? Rafael Varane, he's been another centre-half on our agenda. I'm very, very sceptical that Manchester United will sign him. Dayot Upamecano, he was on our agenda, but now Manchester United have missed out on him. He is going to be going to Bayern Munich. Tyrone Mings, he's been another one on our agenda from Aston Villa. And David Carmo from Braga has also been on our agenda. So that is the news on that. Edison Cavani and Juan Mata's futures are in doubt because we are yet to trigger their contract extensions. Juan Mata and Edison Cavani's contracts expire in the summer. Now, Edison Cavani has made a fantastic impact since he come to Manchester United. You know, he scores goals, he creates chances, his movement in and around the box is very, very good. He holds up the play well. He recently got handed a 2-match ban for the internationals. Earlier on this season, Cavani had a 3-match ban for us for the racist comment that he put on social media back in December. We got Edison Cavani on a free transfer on deadline day last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a second year. Juan Mata, now, I think he's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club now for over 6 years. He's made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored like 50 goals. We got Juan Mata in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. Earlier on this season, he rejected an £18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that Juan Mata's future is uncertain at the club. You already know the news on Erling Haaland. I give you the news on him yesterday. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer makes a new Erling Haaland transfer admission and opens up on Haaland relationship and Man United's interest. Solskjaer did say that he's following Erling Haaland's progress. Obviously, Solskjaer would love to sign Erling Haaland because Solskjaer knows the player well. Solskjaer was the one that gave him his debut at just the age of 16 at Molde. Back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went up to Norway to meet up with Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. Earlier on this season, Erling Haaland's father was talking about his son's transfer links to Man United next year. Haaland's going to be available for £68 million because that's when his release clause does become active. Haaland has been at Dortmund over the year. Dortmund paid just £17 million for him. He's got a contract with Dortmund until 2024. But yeah, since his arrival at Dortmund, he has been a revelation, and Haaland's still got a lot of development in him. You know the news on Jadon Sancho? Eurosport recently said that we think we can get Jadon Sancho for just £50 million this summer. That is a bargain. Dortmund are expecting Sancho to leave in the summer. Borussia Dortmund face a summer of exits. He says Dortmund could sell up to 8 players in the summer to raise funds. Earlier on this season, they reduced Jadon Sancho's asking price to £88 million. So they've knocked 20 million off because last summer Borussia Dortmund wanted £108 million. We was not willing to meet that valuation. But he said a few times last summer that the personal terms had been agreed and the agent fees had been agreed and even a contract had been agreed. But we couldn't come to an agreement on the actual fee, so that was the stumbling block. But Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, he's spoken a lot about the Jadon Sancho transfer saga, and so too has Bild's Christian Falk. Dortmund made it clear to us last summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. Dortmund have endured a very difficult season. Earlier on this season, Sancho made an admission saying that he has endured a difficult season at Dortmund. This is his 4th season with Dortmund. He has got a contract with them until 2023. Dortmund paid just £8 million for him from Man City back in 2017. Declan Rice, I still believe that he's on our agenda. But this year's summer transfer window is very, very important for Manchester United, because we do need to make more signings. And I've already given you the 3 areas where Manchester United need to strengthen up. Hopefully Woodward backs Solskjaer in this year's summer transfer window. He says we are prepared to smash our transfer record in the summer. Ed Woodward is set to hand Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a huge war chest to sign top players in all areas. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has endured 4 transfer windows so far as permanent Man United manager, and he's spent over £200 million at the club. But I think Solskjaer's not been backed enough so far, and obviously Woodward has come out several times to show his support for Solskjaer. He said towards the end of last year that he will back him with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. And even when we was enjoying them bad periods under Ole, Woodward came out and assured that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe. But yeah, the board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years, and this is why obviously a lot of Man United fans have been demanding the board out. Woodward's been at the club since 2012, and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. I think it was a very, very disappointing January transfer window for Man United because we only saw one arrival, and that was Amad Diallo Traore. Solskjaer did say though a few times during the January transfer window that he wasn't expecting any signings. We focused a lot more on the outgoings in the January window rather than the incomings, and to Solskjaer's credit, he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in. Like I said, I think more players could leave Man United in the summer. But I think Man United have really, really improved. I think in recent months performances have improved. Certain players are improving. Luke Shaw, he's really, really improving. He's getting forward well. He's putting good crosses into the box. He's creating chances for his teammates. And defensively, he's been superb. I think Luke Shaw's had a good career at Man United. He's been in the club now over 6 years. My only element of concern about Luke Shaw is injury prone. Surprisingly, Luke Shaw still remains our first choice left back, despite the arrival of Alex Telles last summer. I think Bay's really, really improved. I like the way Bay plays the ball out from the back. He makes very, very good interceptions. He's very effective in the air. My only element of concern about Eric Bay, he is injury prone. He's recently been out of injury, but I think he's going to be available for the game tomorrow against West Brom. I certainly prefer him to Victor Lindelof. Harry Mcguire, he's had some very, very good games this season, but he's also had bad games. But Harry Mcguire still isn't worth the £80 million that we got him for. Harry Mcguire is the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment, and the second most expensive signing at the club. Don't forget, before the start of this season, he had that incident in Greece. And Wan-Bissaka, I think aspects of his game are really, really improving. There's been some games this season where he's showed good attacking intent. His crossing's been good. He's took players on at the edge of the box. And defensively, Wan-Bissaka has always been superb. He's scored 2 goals for Man United. This is Wan-Bissaka's second full season at the club. We got Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace in the summer of 2019. Dean Henderson, I think he's done very, very well in the games he's played in this season. And I think at some point, Dean Henderson will become our number 1. I think Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our number 1. Because he has got that experience behind him. He did endure 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. And before the start of this season, Dean Henderson signed a 6-year contract with Manchester United. So he committed his long-term future with the club. But yeah, David De Gea, he's going to remain our number 1 for at least this season. You can say David De Gea is a liability because he's made quite a lot of calamitous mistakes in the last couple of years. He made 2 bad mistakes in the 3-3 draw with Everton. David De Gea effectively cost us that game, and he did get criticised. A few years ago though, David De Gea was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world. This is his 10th season at Manchester United, so he has been a long servant. When he does leave Man United, I think he will go back to Spain. Solskjaer recently warned David De Gea that his place is not secure in the Man United team, but he said no one's place is safe. They've obviously got to earn their place. But if we were to sell David De Gea in the summer, which I don't think we will, we'd probably get, 50, 60 million pounds for him. When he was the best in the world, we'd have probably got 100 million pounds for him. I think Fred, he's also really improving as well. He's showing good attacking intent. He's breaking up the play well. His passing's getting better. Fred's been at the club now a few years. We got Fred in a deal worth £52 million from Shakhtar Donetsk. I've got to say, Fred was a world-class player when he was at Shakhtar Donetsk. And if he plays tomorrow against West Brom, that will be his 100th appearance for the club. Paul Pogba, I've also been very impressed with him. Paul Pogba got voted Player of the Month for January, reflecting on his good performances, and Paul Pogba scored a fantastic goal in our 2-1 win against Fulham earlier on in the season. Paul Pogba is now out with a thigh injury. Solskjaer revealed he's going to be out for a few weeks, so he's going to be a big miss. Earlier on this season, Paul Pogba had an ankle injury, and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. So he's sustained a few injuries now at Man United. Paul Pogba's future is uncertain at the football club. There is still a chance that Paul Pogba will leave Man United in the summer, but there's also a chance he will stay potentially past the summer. Now, Paul Pogba has been approached by Juventus yet again. Reports from Italy recently said that Juventus had offered us 4 players in exchange for Paul Pogba. He could go back to Juventus because he did enjoy 4 good years with them before he rejoined Man United. There's 3 clubs that want him. Juventus want him, Real Madrid want him, and PSG want him. He said last month that Paul Pogba was considering making a U-turn at the club. That means staying at Manchester United. And he contradicted his agent Mino Raiola for the second time. But his future is on hold until the end of the season. Now, we recently held talks regarding Paul Pogba's future. Solskjaer actually said that Paul Pogba's happy at the club, and Solskjaer suggested that Paul Pogba could sign a new contract. Now, Mino Raiola has refused to comment on Paul Pogba's future. He's working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer to avoid offence. Don't forget, back in December, Mino Raiola made an announcement regarding Paul Pogba, and Solskjaer was furious with his agent's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. Paul Pogba is our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. This is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. If we are to sell him in the summer, I think we'd want around £75 million. Scott McTominay, I think he's enjoyed some very good games this season. Scott McTominay scored in extra time in the 1-0 win against West Ham in the FA Cup 5th round. He scored 7 goals for Man United in all competitions this season. McTominay also did well in the 1-0 win against Watford in the FA Cup 3rd round. He did well in the 9-0 win against Southampton. He did well in the 6-2 win against Leeds because he scored twice in that game and he also got an assist. Was it just after the first lockdown McTominay signed a 5-year contract with Man United? I also think that Donny van de Beek is a good player. That's when he plays. I expected Donny van de Beek to play a hell of a lot more than he has done when he arrived. Most of his appearances come from the bench. He's only started twice in the league, Donny van de Beek, and that was against West Ham and Southampton. After the game against West Ham in the FA Cup 5th round, Solskjaer said he disagrees with the criticism of Donny van de Beek and praised his performance. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer made an admission saying that Donny van de Beek is unhappy at the club because of his lack of game time. But Solskjaer has promised Donny van de Beek more game time at the club. Now, ESPN did say during the January transfer window that we rejected several loan offers for Donny van de Beek, was blocking him from leaving. But we got him in a deal worth £40 million. We paid £35 million up front. There was £5 million in add-ons, and Van de Beek's got a contract with the club until 2025. And he can play in like 3 different roles. Was it back in January that Ronald de Boer actually urged Donny van de Beek to leave the club to boost his chances for the Euros? Will Van de Beek play any part tomorrow against West Brom? Bruno Fernandez, he's obviously an exceptional player. He's our best player and he's the best signing we've made since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. He's just made the difference in the team. Bruno Fernandez is a player that scores goals. Okay, a lot of his goals come from the penalty spot. He creates chances. He also provides assists. Reflecting on his good performances at Man United, he's won Player of the Month quite a few times. And he denies that he needs a rest because Bruno Fernandez obviously wants to help the club win trophies. But Bruno Fernandez did say on his 12-month anniversary that he's planning on spending many years at Manchester United. Marcus Rashford, I think, he's really, really improving. He's endured bad games and he's endured bad periods, but he's still a very, very good player. When Rashford's playing well, he can get good runs in behind. He can create chances and he can also score goals. We need to keep Marcus Rashford out wide because that's where he's more effective. He's better on the left than he is on the right, but in general, he's much better out wide than he is centrally. Marcus Rashford has been part of the club for several years. Like I said, Cavani's made an impact since he's come in. Mason Greenwood, he's done very, very well recently, despite scoring. He's made some very, very good runs down that right-hand side. He can cross the ball well. He can create chances. Ollie's defended Mason Greenwood a lot this season. Didn't really have much of a perception on Greenwood earlier on this season because obviously he had personal issues. At one point he was out with injury and at one point he did have illness. At the start of this season we give Mason Greenwood that number 11 shirt. This is his second season in our senior squad. By the way, Solskjaer promoted 2 young players into the first team. I think Mcguire Traore is now part of the first team squad. I'm looking forward to him playing in the first team because Mcguire Traore has been doing very, very well for the under-23s. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has really, really improved as well as Manchester United manager. He's making very, very good progress. We're now 3rd in the league because Leicester have just beaten Liverpool 3-1. Obviously, we'll go back 2nd if we do beat West Brom tomorrow. We've got a very, very good away record as well under Solskjaer. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. The last time we lost away from home in the Premier League was to Liverpool back in January 2020. That was 2-0 to Liverpool, by the way. We was unbeaten in 13 Premier League games in a row until Sheffield United had beaten us. Solskjaer has got us to the FA Cup quarter-finals. We do play Leicester. That's going to be a tough game. We progressed to the quarter-finals for the 7th consecutive year. Solskjaer is desperate to get to his first final as Manchester United manager. This season Solskjaer got us to the EFL Cup semi-final. Lost that to Man City 2-0. Solskjaer did very, very well last season in his first full season at the club. Got us qualification for the Champions League. Got us third. Second highest we've finished since Ferguson. And he guided us to 3 semi-finals. And like I said, Solskjaer has brought some good players in. You know, in the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James into the club. Daniel James, we played him a lot at one point, but obviously now he's lost his place in the team. And during the January transfer window, there was rumours of him going. And Wan-Bissaka, we also brought him in the summer of 2019. We brought Harry Mcguire in as well. In January of last year, we brought Bruno Fernandez in and Odion Ighalo in on loan. And in the summer transfer window of last year, we brought Donny van de Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Facundo Pellistri and Amad Diallo Traore. And I do like the way that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has promoted the youth. I really, really do, because he's given some of the young players their chances and he's brought more young players into the club. When Solskjaer got appointed in, though, as Man United manager, he did assure that everybody would get their chances to express themselves, including the young players. Solskjaer needs a trophy this season. He knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. Now, obviously the FA Cup is a chance of a trophy and the Europa League is a chance of a trophy. We haven't won a trophy since, 2017, and a club of our stature need to be winning trophies. A lot of United fans have now disregarded the title. I've probably disregarded the title. You know, Solskjaer did make an admission after our 3-3 draw with Everton, and he said we shouldn't be considered as title chasers. But he didn't mention the title race up until that admission. You know, he was just taking one game at a time. We'll win another title at some point, you know, maybe next season, maybe next couple of seasons. Depends on how we recruit in the summer. You know, we haven't won the league since 2013. You've probably got to say we've got to start beating the top 6 sides in the Premier League, because we have struggled against the top 6 sides in the Premier League this season. And Gary Neville, you know, he believes we'll challenge for the title next year. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be given at least another season at the club. You know, this is his second full season at the moment. I think he will sign a new contract at the end of the season, will Solskjaer, because it says we will wait until the end of the season to begin contract talks with Solskjaer. He says we could offer him a new 2-year deal on one condition, that's if we qualify for the Champions League. I can almost assure that we are going to finish in the top 4. I'm very, very sceptical we'll finish out of the top 4. Solskjaer has just 16 months left on his current contract. When Solskjaer got the job permanently back in March 2019, he signed a 3-year contract. Obviously, we give Solskjaer the job permanently, reflecting on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. You know, we did appoint him in December 2018. But yeah, he's been Man United manager now for over 2 years. And reflecting now on he's been at the club, he has gained some managerial experience and he's learnt quite a bit on the job. But we deserve credit for sticking with Solskjaer, because he could have easily been sacked as Man United manager, because we have enjoyed bad periods under him and he's been criticised a lot, especially earlier on this season, reflecting how inconsistent we was. We was poor at the start of last season. We enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. And to be fair, we have won more games at Old Trafford. But we've been far better away from home than we have been at Old Trafford. All our defeats this season have come at Old Trafford. So yeah. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.